Okay, she said she wanted us to group them though, right?
You're gonna do
By like high school coaches, sports coaches, how do you want to group them? Because you could bring all the department heads together. Because Eric is here from athletics too.
City of New Haven meeting agenda, Youth Services Committee. Meeting can be viewed on Board of Alders YouTube. Board of Alders notice. The Youth Services Committee will meet in person on Wednesday, March 11, 2026 at 6 p.m. located at 165 Church Street, second floor. Board of Alders chambers, New Haven, Connecticut, to hear and act upon the following items. LN 2025-0623. Order calling for a workshop with the Department of Youth and Recreation Department, the New Haven Public Schools, and other relevant officials to discuss youth sports improvements and the potential establishment of a youth sports commission. This item is on file and available for public inspection in the Office of Legislative Services, 55 Church Street, New Haven, per order, Honorable Kimberly Edwards, Chair. Attest, Honorable Michael Smart, City Clerk. If you need an accessibility related accommodation, please contact 203-946-7651 voice or 203-946-8582 TTY. In accordance with the City of New Haven COVID-19 guidelines, masks are now optional, and public may send comments to public testimony at newhavencity.gov. Thank you all for being here tonight, and sorry for the delay. We're going to get our workshop started, and I just ask that everyone make sure their cell phones are either turned off or on silent, please, so we are not interrupted at this meeting. And then we're going to have committee members introduce themselves, starting from my left. Thank you. I'm also going to have Alder from Ward 9 introduce herself.
Tony Smith, Ward 9.
All right, so we're going to get this started. As it is a workshop, we are going to first ask our sponsors to come before us and just give us a briefing. And they're,
Represents 67 down the street,
thank
New
you.
Haven.
Carolyn Toby Smith, 45 Nash.
Thank you, Madam Chair, Madam President, distinguished colleagues and guests. I've spent 25 years as the another school coach in this city. Here tonight because I've seen firsthand and for far too long a widening gap between the talent of our youth and the resources we provide them. We're here to talk about a systemic shortfall in New Haven's commitment to its children. When we look across the city line into surrounding suburbs, we see youth recreation treated as an essential municipal service. In these towns, taxpayer-funded recreation pipelines that guide children from kindergarten to high school. Our kids and kids reality. They play on aging, neglected infrastructure, courts, and unlit fields that signal to them that their recreation is not involved. While suburban peers benefit from modern facilities and guaranteed transportation, our suburban athletes are often sidelined by a lack of a ride or a safe place to practice. We aren't just losing athletes in suburbs, we're losing the battle for equity. Many of the strongest youth sports programs in the nation are already led by community organizations and volunteers. Our role should be to make it easier, not harder, for them to do their work. That means clearer processes for criminals, easier access to fields and gyms, and a city that is welcoming and responsive to the people who are already stepping up for our young people. We must be clear about what is at stake. In New Haven, the sports program is not an extracurricular. It's a frontline violence. The hours between 3 p.m. and 7 p.m. are the most critical window for youth safety. When a child has a functioning field to go to, a coach waiting for them, and a way to get there, they are shielded from the pressures of the street. Every dollar we fail to invest in our parks and recreation programs is a dollar we eventually pay to the justice system. We are essentially choosing whether to fund the field today or a courtroom tomorrow. To address these challenges, we are proposing 3 actionable steps. Establish a youth sports commission, a formal body to tackle the common issues of infrastructure and transportation, build private and public partnerships, and help raise necessary funds to support our grassroots organizations. Launch a municipal recreation league. We must develop an initial plan for a city-run league, grades K-8, inclusive of both boys and girls, regardless of skill level, focusing on sports like basketball and soccer to ensure that every child has a point of entry. 3, formalize grassroots support. We need a dedicated line item to provide operational resources for local programs already doing work, ensuring they have the equipment, permits, and training they need to thrive. Our children deserve the same quality of life and physical respect as every child in a neighboring town, and it's time we level the playing field. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you, Chair Edwards, President Walter Myers, and Alder Rodriguez for your time this evening. I'm thrilled to be sitting to Alder to talk about a topic that's critically important to our city and also very personal to me, youth sports. Like for so many of us in the chambers tonight, playing sports was formative for me as a young person. In 4th grade, I joined my Parks and Rec basketball league, later in middle and high school, I played for my basketball, track, and cross country teams. My middle school cross country coach was my art teacher, and my high school basketball coach was my math teacher. In many ways, my greatest education growing up as a young person was in the classroom, but it was really on the field, on the court, and on the track. And that's not just true for me, and not just true for all the Rentig, it's true for so many young people. But right now, the reason we're here tonight is because we've been hearing from families and athletes and coaches that there are some current real gaps in our sports. Some of the things we've heard about aging facilities, we've heard about challenges with permitting to access gyms and fields, not enough school-based programs in K-8 or coordinated partners, leading to a lot of fragmentation. We've got transportation barriers that make it hard for kids to get to practices and get to games. And the reality that our grassroots programs, coaches and volunteers who are doing incredible work, are operating with very limited resources. And so we wanted to host tonight's workshop with the Youth Services Committee to spark a conversation to listen, learn, and reflect. Tonight's about bringing city departments, community organizations, and families to better understand what's working and so thank you so much to the city departments for being here in partnership and to the coaches and organizations for attending as collaborators. And so tonight we hope to learn 1, what programs do we currently have as a city, 2, what are the gaps and what barriers are currently standing in the way, and 3, we discuss what solutions could be gaps. And then lastly, these questions will likely not be answered tonight. The solutions will certainly not be defined tonight. And so tonight, Alder says to start a conversation and propose those 3 immediate actionable steps. The first is establishing a sportsman commission or council, a formal body that continue and hold these ongoing discussions to continue to identify gaps and identify solutions. Second is towards launching a municipal youth recreation league for grades K through 8. And third is easier to navigate for grassroots programs, easier access to fields and gyms, and a culture of ease, welcome, and responsiveness. Thank you so much for allowing us to host this tonight, and we look forward to learning about it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Before I call our next presenter up, can you correct and let's figure out who you want to come up in groups. I would like you all to do that. So you have to tell us now. You're going to call up our youth and recreation department. I just wanted to give that to you. Great, you can get them from us.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, next up, I'm going to call our youth and recreation department. I also like to announce all the your in attendance.
Alders, thank you for this opportunity to speak with you. We did give you the note page for the PowerPoint. Our legislative director, Mr. Lucas, is on the screen, so we'll be able to see. Again, thank you for the invitation to come, and we are here just to explain what programs are currently going on with the City of Youth and Recreation Department. My name is Dr. Gwendolyn B. Williams. I'm the Director for the Youth and Recreation Department, 19 Parks. I have will introduce themselves as they speak. We are all here today because we are a team in doing the work, and I actually asked for our administrator to come as well, because she has invested interest in youth sports as her children participate in sports as well. So this is something that is very important to us. It is not a promise. The introduction, our intramural citywide restructure, our new game of recreation today, and then just a quick conclusion. And so not to delay the time, I'm going to turn it over to my deputy, Felicia Shashenka. You go to the next page. Who will then start?
Thank you, Director Williams. And thank you for having us this evening. Gotcha. So I can just go through this since you have the history. So I just kind of want to go back to, when I came to the City of New Haven Youth, at the time it was called Parks and Recreation. So the Recreation Division was originally housed under the Parks Department. This division focused on providing structured activities and safe spaces for youth across the state. Recreation supervisors at the time were assigned to schools and neighborhood recreation sites. Staff worked closely with school communities and local families, and focus on neighborhood participation, school involvement, and youth development through sports. At its peak in 1998, 10 full-time recreation supervisors, each supervisor assigned for recreation site. Typical staff schedule would be 1 to 9 p.m., 4 days a week, and then we would all work on Saturday programming from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. This staffing structure allowed the city to provide extensive youth programming throughout the community. The department offers several core sports programs, including basketball, flag football, soccer, and volleyball. So this, if you work intramurals at the 10 different sites, approximately 18 of kids that were PE. And then what they did is, out of those kids, everyone picked all-star team. And then we would meet at different locations all over the city, and from each of the 10 recreation sites, we would do a citywide intramural. Recreation has intramural programs at 10 sites, with 10 recreation sites for approximately 1,200 youth per citywide site, 18 recreation building, approximately 15 players per team, 120 participants per sport per building. City All-Stars were selected, 10 teams competed citywide, 50 participants to 8 to 10 weeks, ending in some type of championship. Recreation programming ran September through May, with programs including after-school sports league, intramurals competitions, citywide tournaments. During the summer, recreation supervisors also ran 8 weeks of summer camps, keeping 8 schools on. Part-time supervisors began to retire, and positions were not replaced. By January 2008, the department had 5 recreation supervisors remaining. What we look like today is now we have one deputy director, one community recreation coordinator, two full-time recreation supervisors, and approximately 30 part-time staff. Our current challenges, we see them, include limited facility space, staff limitations, funding needed to operate and expand programs. We have obviously had to change what our offerings look like and the way that we now offer programs and facilitate programs throughout the city, not having those 10 spots, 10 spaces, 10 supervisors. We do art class, we do basketball clinics and clinics, we do crocheting, variety of dance classes, kickball, Legos, line dancing, pickleball, pottery classes, rising stars, which is something that we try to get kids more mindful now. So we try to keep them, through middle school, through middle school. We have STEM program, we have swimming, we have open swimming, we have tennis, and we also have volleyball. We also have a program that we took over called Open Schools. This is an evening program together designed to give teens something positive to do between the hours of 6 and 8 p.m. Participants can come in a variety of schools and do games such as kickball, basketball, soccer, or home activities. This program runs from November to May and services over 2,000 students. Our open school locations, because we do them citywide, Rich Woods, John Martinez, Lincoln Bassett, Nathan Hale, Roberta Clemente. I just want to take the opportunity to thank all of you for listening to us and just see how we have changed from the time from 1998 to 2026, just forced by having to change because of staffing, facilities, and just the way that the kids are and parents are and what we are able to offer.
Thank you, Felicia. So to the alders, just, we do recognize that there is a gap in services, but we also recognize the biggest barrier that we are facing is budgetary and financial. I do want, because there's so many people that are sitting behind me that have done wonderful work to acknowledge, because of our limited staffing, we have been able to offer grants and subsidize some of the programs of the coaches that are sitting here so that we are able to tap in and continue the work that we are doing with our young people. We wish we were able to give them more because we know of our constraints, but I just wanted to acknowledge all of the hard work of everyone, every coach, every parent, every volunteer, every person that has come through and collaborated with us in order to be able to provide sports to our young people. And so unless my colleagues have anything else to say, we're open to any questions.
I'll just add a little bit, I realize I'm also working in 911 that just to emphasize everything that our team said, we really believe in youth sports and want to support it in many different forms. Grateful to Yard, to Dr. Gwen and Felicia and their team for all that they're doing that they shared today. And just to say, we are eager to partner on the next phase of this work, whatever it looks like. So thank you. We look forward to together.
Thank you. Are there any questions?
Thank you, Madam Chair. So you said that your department is able to provide small grant, is it in the form of a grant to the programs that the participants are in?
Yes, so prior to the ARPA dollars coming in, we provide sports grants every year up to anywhere ranging between $3,500 and $5,000. It is not just for sports, but it's also for pro-social activity for students who are not interested in sports. So we sponsor those who might have had a chess club or someone who had some kind of art or theater classes, ballet, we supported it as well. When ARPA came, we were actually able to give 13 two-year contracts where each organization received $7,500 each year. So it was a total of $15,000 for specific as we move into this spring, when we bring out our sports grant, we are now going back to pre-COVID dollars. So we will be offering sports grants of anything between $35,000 and $5,000 for sports organizations and pro-social organizations. And that grant will be coming out first week in May, April.
Any other questions from committee? Alder Riddick.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Director Shishinka, you had mentioned limited space. What has changed in the last 20 years that you and I have known each other? Because Park and Rec used to run all the buildings.
So not only we not run all the buildings anymore, we have a lot of after-school programs that are in the buildings. We have a lot of, so we have we have a lot of money that is still staff in the current buildings are running, so the buildings are not available to use after school.
I also, I just added, we have to remember that the original youth and service department has gone on under many changes, have morphed several times due to passing of budgets inside of that budget. So when the Parks Department was created, then again, the responsibility shifted, and so the running of parks and the committee of the park buildings have now fallen under parks.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Any other questions from members at this time? No? Other questions from-
We appreciate you.
Thank you. We appreciate you for being here tonight. We are going to start calling you all up in groups. Please forgive me if I mispronounce your name. I would like Mr. Eric Patkowski, Aaron Mays, Henry Malton, and Angel Ramos. So please come up. Okay. Thank you for being here. What we would ask you to do or have you do, we just need you to make sure you state your name and address for the record. And then you may speak.
Mays, 27 Gwinnett Street. Just want to say, it's an opportunity to speak a little bit about. I had a young man last year that passed away during the middle of the season, before the season began. I felt like if we were in the gym, then maybe this was a situation where he would be still alive. I'm committed to being in a facility to work with children. I'm a retired professional basketball player, and I've been having major constraints with getting gym time. I'm a 7-day-a-week shop. I want to help as many kids as possible. I want to work with as many kids as possible. But it seems like I've been having major trouble. I've been getting a lot of help from my boss here, Eric, and also also helped a little bit last year. But if you have somebody committed to work with children, as much as I am willing to, I don't see why it's so difficult to receive, to get an opportunity to work with you.
Eric Patkowski, 182 Longcrest Road, New Haven. I also have been in the school system for 35 years. I currently serve as the Director of Athletics for the Board of Ed. I want to first comment on the presentation before. When I came into New Haven in 1991, I worked at Wexford School, and they had a parks person there that ran activities out there, and I coached out of there in our Q house for 15 years. And brought kids all over New England to play in tournaments. There was a farmhouse that we participated in. They had flag football, they had soccer, year-round sports. And in the summer, they did camp. And I watched that fade away in all the years I've been here. And I also watched how it affects our high school programs, because our kids a lot of them who come to play at the high school level have not really participated in competitive sports when they get there. We have a very limited middle school program due to when we got rid of the middle schools in New Haven and made schools community aid. We got to combine 4 or 5 schools to make a program, so it's a large financial thing. To me, looking at it and all the years I've done this, it's even if it was on a lower level, like we did some collaboration with this year to bring extra teams in and more kids where we both combined our resources. Was able to help a little bit, but we're nowhere's near we need to be level in order to have our kids at home doing things so they're not following things they should at an earlier age and to be ready to the ones that want to play high school sports to be ready. Also, there's a huge access issue. Like there I talk about, I'm sure Kevin will talk about, I'm sure Angel will talk about. We have people here from other departments from the New Heat that'll call me for gyms. I don't permit the gyms, but I get in the field. I do that as much as I can, but there's a huge access problem to get our youth into facilities. And there used to not be such a security level and custodial level in everything that we do. If you have 20 kids coming for a tryout, we got to have security there. So there's a cost involved in it. And so what happens is a lot of our programs are not able to do what they do because there's a financial issue that is put there that I don't know necessarily it should be. I don't make those decisions. I know that I have to tell Darren or Kevin or Angel, like, oh yeah, I can't get you in the gym because it's not during our season and I'm not comfortable in there. We have to go this. In 35 years I've been doing this. Used to be if the principal said, oh yeah, you could come to our school after school and have a program there, they would have a program. Over the years, we've built up so much red tape. I feel like one, it's made it impossible. Like, so if my high school coaches say, hey, I want to do a youth, because a youth basketball thing, and okay, when you want to get in the gym, what do you have to do? There's so much red tape to do it. I can't just say, yeah, that's a great idea. Let's do that. And it's significantly affected the development of our youth. We invest in New Haven. I've invested in for 40 years. We invest in a lot of things. And in his opening statement, he said something that really stuck with me, which I truly believe. If we don't invest in this side of it, invest in the other side of it, when kids get up, calls and things happen that they shouldn't be involved in. So I don't believe the process that we went through to over our recreation department has helped us in any way as a city, as a department, as an athletic department, and just as a community in general. You go to suburbs and they have distinct programs like we used to have, and all those kids play together. And the other thing that people don't recognize, and I know I'm going with it, but it's taking a long time to have this conversation, is that a lot of neighborhood problems, and you could testify, this really solved at those times because the kids knew each other. They had some familiar with each other, played together against each other. And a lot of the things, I coached a Q house for 15 years. We had kids from the Ville and from the kids say the Trey, and they played together, and it resolved so many issues that were going to blow up. Oh, no, like I know him, it's okay, that's okay. So we're missing that whole part of it too. As a taxpayer, as someone who's dedicated their entire life to athletics in New Haven and our youth, I implore this city to take a very close look at the way that we do our sports, the way what we put into our athletics, and that we come up with a plan to move forward. I know speaking for my department, and I hope most people say this, that we would do anything, even if it's out of our realm, to help with this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Madam Chair, Madam President, holders. First of all, I want to But thanks for having us. My name is Kevin Walton, and I reside at 58 East Pearl Street in the village of Fairhaven. A father of two sons, grew up playing youth sports in New Haven, and someone who has spent more than 25 years coaching in the city. My experience includes 13 years as head girls basketball coach at Career High School and 14 seasons as the head basketball coach at Wilbur Cross, and volunteer coaching with Farnham Biddy basketball, Pop Smith baseball, Boys and Girls Club, and Young Life Sports, as well as the New Haven Heat. I also previously served on the Board of Commission for Parks and Recreation. Through these roles, I have found firsthand both the strengths and challenges of the youth sports system. I've also seen how the landscape is changing. A few years ago, a coach from a much wealthier town pulled me aside and said, basketball is becoming a rich man's sport. Fortunately, the people in my town can afford to pay. 20 years ago, in that town, they were playing $1,500 a pop to play travel basketball. The rising costs, and at the time it sounded exaggerated, but today it feels prophetic. The rising cost of trainers, travel teams, academies, camps, prep schools, and specialized coaching are creating advantages that many of our families simply cannot match. One of the most frustrating things is when you go to get a permit, not only is it the time that it takes to turn the permit over, but it's always the questioning of, if this is AAU, we are going to charge you. If you are involved in youth sports, you know there's only one program in this area that is making tons of money, and they do that by using one of our main facilities at least 8 times a year, right? So, and they're not from New Haven. National trends reflect this reality. Youth sports participation is declining, especially among boys and black youth, and children are playing fewer sports than ever before. We see the same patterns in New Haven: aging facilities, limited access, transportation barriers, and a growing divide between families who can afford to keep their kids competitive and those who cannot. But here's the good news: we can fix it, and we can fix it together. There's another critical layer to this conversation, and all the Benedicti talked about it: youth safety. Data shows that juvenile crime peaks during the hours right after school. Nearly one-fifth of violent youth crimes occur between 3 and 7, and on non-school days, violence peaks between 6 and 9. National reports consistently confirm that the hours between 2 and 6 are the prime window for juvenile crime, driven by lack of supervision and constructive activity. The research is clear. Quality after-school programs, including sports, significantly reduce youth crime, improve behavior, and provide safe, structured environments. This is another reason why a comprehensive youth sports initiative is important. It's not just about athletics, it's about public safety, community stability, and giving young people purpose during the hours when they are most vulnerable. In closing, no single group can solve this alone, but with volunteers, city departments, community organizations, nonprofits, parents, coaches, and all the people sitting behind us work together, we create a system where every child in New Haven can play, grow, and reach their full potential. Our city has always had talent. Now it's time to build a structure to match it and make New Haven competitive again. Thank you.
My name is Angel Ramos. I'm the baseball coach for Wilbur Cross and the founder for City Angel Baseball Academy. I started City Angel Baseball Academy in 2019 when I started coaching at Wilbur Cross. And I started City Angel Baseball Academy because I saw the baseball in the neighborhood was down. One thing I was trying to do is our kids they can compete at the level like this of other cities around. It's like the other cities around, they got AU program. The parents got money. They pay $4,000 or $5,000 for the kids playing this AU program. And our middle school system, they don't have a learning program because I know the situation of the budget. And what's happening is like Eric said, these kids coming to play any sport. And in high school, they know they can play at the high school level. They're ready to play at high school level. One thing I try to we want to help the kids to go to college because now the kids got to understand that and college now is no longer is about a bachelor degree. They can have a bachelor degree they can finish with money in the bank because that's a big policy with the NCAA now about Division One players, Division Two players. They can have this bachelor degree, full scholarship, and after that get money, extra money, and go to the bank. They keep it in the bank. One thing is, the other thing we have to work is our facility. New Haven is, I think, the second or the third largest city in Connecticut. And we have the worst athletic complex. We don't have a nice baseball field. We don't have baseball field with turf. We don't have baseball field with light that our kids can play at night. And the same thing is like track, the soccer fields. It's like sometimes I understand that private way they don't have the budget to fix the field. And me and my parents, we go over there to fix the field. We don't, and we try to help like the city because we understand about budget. But I think it's sad that you can go to Derby, and you go to Sonia, and they got beautiful colors, turf. It's so sad. I remember last year, Uncle Leo came to me and told me, hey, you are absolutely right. I go with my daughter to play soccer in Older Town, and in Older Town they have beautiful field and beautiful colors. Why we can't have that here? And I guarantee you, if you had that, I guarantee you're going to motivate that kid and say, you know what, I want to go play in that field. I want to go do something in that complex. But if we keep behind and the other cities getting better and better. As a team, we will see new athletes. It's like have a kid they play with me from 12 years old. His father moved to his haven, and now that kid I was telling a couple of people over here, he's going to be a major league player next year. He's going to be drafted this year, and he's so sad that he was here all the time. He moved to another town because they have better equipment, they got better facilities, and we lost our player here. I think that's the team we have to work with the team. Okay, thank you.
Thank you all. And
No, really quick questions.
now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna call the rest of the speakers and then we will circle back around. Is that okay?
Okay.
All right, that's what I'm gonna say. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, we're gonna have Ralph. I remember your names. I told you all this in the beginning. Cuparillo and Mr. Dan Hicks. Thank you for, just state your name and address for the record, please, and then we would like to hear your suggestions.
I'm Ralph Cuparillo. Excuse the phone, but I made some notes and stuff from it. And I live at 77 North Road. Recently relocated from the East York neighborhood. I am a volunteer coach with the New Haven Heat basketball. I moved up here a couple of years ago from New York City. I raised a son and a daughter in Long Island, both actively involved in sports. My son was a hockey player, my daughter was a basketball player, went on to play some college basketball, and then I moved to New York City. A lot of what I was going to bring up real quick was spoken. I look at me like the photos before me, and there's a common trend here. And I don't harp on it, but and I don't have the background universe as far as how things go, where it declined to, where I see it. But I can bring an outside perspective, in raising two athletes in an affluent neighborhood in Long Island, I must say, and then moving into Manhattan and seeing how the sports were handled in a major city with major facilities, budget, a lot of red tape. All right. The thing about that shocked me when I came up here. When I moved up here, I right away wanted to get involved in the community, and I reached out to the wonderful folks who Pete, and I started coaching. And I was shocked at the discrepancy in the amount of children that play, the amount of kids, and the facilities that were there but weren't available. I was shocked. I mean, I could see where if you don't have the facilities and you have to figure it out, but the facilities are there, you know, and it threw me back a little bit. You know, there wasn't a shortage of kids that want to play, and there was a shortage of volunteers that want to get involved. You couldn't understand, you know, and I didn't really understand the level of red tape because I lived in Manhattan. I had kids that played ball in Harlem. I had kids that played on the Lower East Side. I can't think of a city that probably has more red tape. It's hard to get things done than New York City. And they were getting it done. The schools were available to the kids after school. You know, they, I don't know whether they just realized the importance of it more or what, but they were getting it done. And, they also maintained the parks and fields for the kids. So, you know, I was looking at the red tape. And, that was going on up here. Again, I'm fortunate enough, we with the Heat were given an opportunity. I run a clinic on Tuesday nights from 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock for kindergarten to fourth graders, a free clinic for basketball. It's open to the public, anybody can come. And I just want to share the feedback that I've been getting from the parents more recently. I did it last year, but it seems to me there's been a turn. And a couple of parents have come up, and I read it with Coach Mack, another great volunteer, and they come to me and said, you know, how grateful they are for to have the opportunity to bring their children there, and thankful for people like myself and all the other folks to donate our time because between, and this is just here, between the cutbacks and after-school programs and stuff, they were running out of opportunity places for their children. They didn't feel comfortable going to school, letting the kid grab a basketball, go to the park, go to the schoolyard. Obvious reasons, and that's for obvious reasons, especially in certain neighborhoods. I've noticed, you know, that I can understand why people were hesitant to just let the kids go out and play ball, and you know, there were a couple of issues. So I don't see maybe I just don't understand it. I see the facilities there. I see obviously we're in need of this, and you have men and women who are willing to volunteer their time. I don't understand the issue. The only thing I can see as far as the budget, you might have to get security, you might have to, but otherwise, I can't see, like, I can't see somewhere there and all the groups can't get together, come up with a couple $1,000 and say, okay, we'll put a security guard out here. That confuses me. But I love seeing the results. You know, we get, you know, sometimes 20, 25 kids on a Tuesday night. And they're not all balls, they're not all basketball players. Some kid will come down and he's 6 years old, but his older sister will come down, you know, and down that first day, and then, you know, she'll come back next week, and she'll come back. I think it's the third week, WNBA ball, and they're enjoying it, you know. And then, you know, I even wanted to get some of these children to put a little team together last year and get them to play other teams. We had to go to Bridgeport to be able to get a gym and get a team to play us. I had to take these kids, pile them in cars with their parents, and drive them down to Bridgeport to play a game. How many kids go down? 4,000 kids go down to Bridgeport because we couldn't get a gym up here to play a game. You know, again, I don't know the inner workings of the city and stuff. I'm just giving you an outside and a little feedback from the parents. They were so grateful that they had a safe place to the point where they knew they could drop their child off at 6 o'clock and go do food shopping, go do whatever they need to do after a day's work, and come back. And I made sure that we ran kids around so they go home and go right to sleep. They were tired, you know. And that's my take. I see all the ingredients here of the need for it, and I can't see how whatever's holding it back.
Thank you.
Good evening, Dan Hicks. I am the co-founder and director of the House. I'm going to start with a brief demonstration. If it'll work. Oh, should I hit play? Obviously reinforcing a lot of what you've already heard tonight. New Haven Counts is the lead math partner for the New Haven Tutoring Initiative. What you heard referenced in that video is a synopsis of what we do in math sports. And so what happens in our program. Uh, programs, kids also have the opportunity to decide each week as well when they finish their math work. Our interest, our desire for students in soccer was so great that as an offshoot of that, we used to video highlight. This past fall, we had 13 school-based teams with over 200 students participating in our Friday night league. We're starting our spring season with 16 school teams, approximately 250 students, grades 5 through 8, participating in the Friday games. So these are all programs at our schools. Yeah, the math work done, participate. So our experience comes from our work. Ron Paul and myself, as co-founders, we started our careers as teachers at basketball coaches in the Haven middle school, you heard referenced earlier. And we see the gaps tonight, particularly in soccer. We want to be that easy on for kids. Make sure the kids have access, just like everyone in this room does. I think what's important about what we do as well is the school community. Saw some of the kids getting off the bus wearing the black shirts. It creates pride in their school community. It's a place where students connect to all that surround that pride in the team, and that's desperate to continue to build. So we see ourselves as a gateway for goals to get kids involved, engaged, and on a positive path. We actively encourage our kids to pursue other opportunities from some of the great work here tonight in the areas rest access to so we efforts. We are ready to support the sports commission as you discussed tonight, and we're looking forward to continuing this work to expand opportunities for you.
Thank you very much. I'm going to call out Mr. Ricky Barrett, Herbert McPherson, and Larry Holmes.
this.
All right, so, as you come up, please just state your name and address for the record. Don't be nervous. We just here.
Tiger Homes, New Haven, two minutes. Riverview 3, 64.
Ricky Barrett, 266 West Rock Avenue.
Larry Peterson, born and raised in New Haven.
What did you go first? Go ahead. You guys want to say something?
I have a gyms and places after school is like messing us up. People would be in it, and doesn't do like teach and how they're living. And I feel like we gotta opportunities for people to go there, opportunities for kids to see people and help them get better opportunities in life.
For that.
I want to say like us after school programs. We do need more because the neighborhood I'm in, I can't go to a basketball court and look over my shoulder. My neighborhood, and I feel like it's more safer, better environment. Then you can also meet people. If I see you play that, and I see you, I back you up, and just better opportunities to meet with people, better.
As an athlete myself, I know there's not like a lot of places. From where I live, basketball, and then most of the parts 30 minutes away, hour away. Well, LA Fitness in Maryland. My mom works overnight. She's in, and
All right, so I'm going to try not to be long winded. Thank you for allowing us this opportunity to be able to talk on such an important topic. I like to consider myself one of those middle gems of Mr. Graham had a golf program I'm one of the kids from at Betsy Ross, so I have Ben Hunter was one of my guys as a mentor for me as well. So I have a deep affinity for youth sports and what's going on. So I'm going to try to be able to talk to this from a few different perspectives. One perspective will be the other perspective will be someone that came through the city, and then the other perspective is so, right, we'll start with the idea of, and if I would add a piece to land redundance, adding initiatives would be someone to bridge and the academics as a community issue, bring it together. So either budgetary is the same way, where they can share the same budget and have the same initiative. When we start to think about preparedness and what's going on, rolling the basketball out is cool, right? But like we said, and like we had others who said, there are skilled things that are being learned. People have the money to get those skilled things. Okay, so budgetary wise, I probably came through, how can I be, I went through, still inspires the victory, Kid 2000, every freaking thing that you would think about, street here in the city or have.
So the idea of we need to be able to create that community partnership. When I was we won a lot, uh, and Pop Warner and things of that such. Then we got to high school, you know, the championship being one of the first one. So we weren't used to that. We used to have the idea of people talking down on the sport culture of coaches and then get into high school and say, you don't know the basics of what it is and what you need to do. Now, a bunch of men who are coming back in the community, trying to learn some of the technical things to be able to give kids, right? I come from a generation where we have a lot of D1 athletes. We don't do a good job of celebrating those who have been successful in us, right? We have guys like Dr. Coley back here, Ken Claxton, Casey. I came from that era where we had like a lot of good players that you went to Yale, different places, and all this other stuff. People are coming to our communities and taking them to other opportunities because either one of them or we don't have the athletic structure to develop students to get by. Right? These are some rhetorical questions that I have out there. I also played middle school basketball and middle school football. So, you know, these are, like I said, the consequence lines back when I was in middle school. Then it's the idea of different areas have different issues. Right? I remember as someone trying to come back and doing or looking to do a camp, there's a million pieces of red tape. And you know, hey, go off street. No, I'm not giving you a problem. Right? So we deal with situations like that, where they want to funnel certain groups to certain things, but the facilities don't have the same. Right? There's no lines, there's no baseball fields, all those little things that we need to do. So we kind of need to pull resources and get them together. So then the idea of, you know, we have parents who are raising kids in this, and one of the things we get to the youth programs, well, get to the high school part. And it's like, ugh, do I want to send my kid here? Right? And then you come to or any of the other programs that coach our kids to take away and say, hey, come here, I'll give you a better education path, I'll give you better opportunities to work with parents to say no. Then we also don't do the best of realizing the talent of former athletes and alumni that's come through the city to be able to give back. You know, say, maybe not here. So they run their team issues. Right? So I'm not sure how to end these things or what to do or what relationships that we need to have or even pointing out that different areas aren't working for them. They're doing a fantastic job. Everybody has their own thing that they're trying to do. They're doing a fantastic job in their own silo. But put those things together, we can begin to kind of accomplish a little bit. Right now, the number one cornerback just won the Jim award. We had a kid a couple years ago, Tyler Booker, from New England. He's one of the Dallas Cowboys. We have Graham, we have all these different people that we go. The talent is here. We need to bring those people back and say, hey, what can we do? What resources can we get to you to be able to help you? Especially from the you know, some of us have graduated from middle houses, went through these programs, went to school, did all the things, and you know, what does that look like? How do we shore that up from the educational standpoint and say, okay, no, we will be able to get your student from this high school all the way into people like Coach Moore, who has a long list of athletes. I was going to try to get so, you know, long list of athletes who have gone on to PhDs, lawyers, doctors, and obviously they're willing to come back. Gary sends out a text message to say, hey, Kat, I need $10. Gary, $1,000 a day. Right? This is the type of community that track and field has had. Also need to believe in the kids. So whatever we can do to kind of say, okay, you're from the area, you believe in the kids, let me help you invest in the kids. Because we often have like these red tapes to kind of keep people out
oh, you need this, that, and the third. What about having grants to be able to get? What about having grants to help? We're avenues of saying, okay, we're going to do this skill, this and that, right? A lot of people have different athletic activities or services that they lend out and they're doing well. Bring them in. Opportunity. Have those people are paying for it. Let's use it. A lot of people want to give that to the middle because we have the affinity to the cities. Like, yeah, I went to Hill House first. So we just right? We just made it to the whole thing. I was a sophomore on the team that tackled by Dave and Mo. That's kind of thing that we understand and to get back into. This is the richness of the city for all of us to get back together and be fat and old and things talk about how we were good. For our children. So we need to be able to bring that back and make sure that we have that in the rest of peace. I'm not going to take too much more of your time. Thank you for this moment, and I am more than willing to serve in any capacity if needed. I can also be a fly on the wall or whatever it is that you want me to do to be able to come and help out. And thank you to the places like Farm Committee, because I went there, played for Path Lab, bunch of had fun, that kind of stuff. So I appreciate all of us. Oh, you get on this highway and you hope the basketball camp that we had over there in the services. I've done it all, and I feel good. Shout out to Gary Gates, he has his tournament. We have this stuff here. We have to be here. We need to invest in our city and our leaders, empower them, and then say, hey, what can we do? Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we're gonna, I would like two more people to come up. I'm gonna have the McCaulays come up, please. But we do have, time restraints at this time. I just want to put it out there, we are running over. So if you would come up and just state your name and address for the record, please.
We appreciate the opportunity to come and speak. Thank you very much for adding the name. I apologize for adding it late. I'm Donald McCauley, been a resident for 63 years and in sports in some way for at least 55. I'd like to thank the chair and also like to recognize a left one. I don't think so, but Director Letty and Felicia for all that they've done. I've partnered with them many times. But I think a lot has been said already. I just wanted to hit on something. I'm also a homeowner, and owning at least 5 properties in the area and taking taxes to do. I'm very, very, very interested in this. The investment I made, I think I should get better value for what's happening with my kids.
I need you to state your.
262 West Elm Street, New Haven, Connecticut, lifelong resident. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Dr. Don McCauley, 576 Winthrop Avenue.
So I'm not going to reiterate what you said already, but I think the issue around, and I'll just identify it as an issue, and that cost, red tape, union and security limitations. That seems to be everything that we run up against, whether it's renting space, trying to get access to a gym, trying to run a particular program. I've had many conversations with the current athletic director, with the Parks Department around potential solutions, and I think Barrett gave you a couple that I think should be considered seriously. One, negotiate the use of volunteers with the unions. We've always run into problems like on the baseball program. I did Smith for 15 years, and then New England for 20 years. There was a point in time when we actually did our own field because we needed to get it done able to have games take place. We recognize the security, the insurance related issues, but somehow, some way, we have to find a way to work through that to get a better use of those facilities. Better coordination, it came up between the Board of Education and the Parks Department. We have too many facilities, too many resources that are open because someone's there cleaning the building that is not actually being used to leverage. Alicia talked about the directory we had many, many years ago. We may not be able to fund that kind of system, but clearly we can do something more than we do now to get these buildings open and get them fully, what I would consider, occupied and utilized to the other one I would like to add is better leverage, and then we did say this already, better leverage our former athletes. You may not be able to support, and this is what we're doing, we've outsourced athletics. We've outsourced recreation today. And you may not be able to support two individual programs. But what we may be able to do is do something that's New Haven sponsored, New Haven led, and it leverages all of the talent that we actually have in coaches. But because we've outsourced, we've got the hands off and we give a little here and a little there. Maybe it's time to take a look at how can we leverage our tax knowledge now, New Haven perspective. The Junior Olympics at 15 years old. I represented the city of New Haven. To be able to put on those letters across the country representing New Haven, we don't have that anymore. New Haven is not supported. New Haven is not recognized. And I think we can do a better job with our kids.
Well, thank you for your time. This is a kind of a playing moment, but for me, not just being a native of New Haven, coming back home and actually being a professor in sport management program. So for me, not to just live I wanted starting on a youth department, one program that came through to go to college, play school. So unfortunately, I got involved in sport management in general, things that I saw. And so the ecosystem of sport does not just focus on, but more so the faults. And so we don't have a serious idea about sport. Sport tourism is a thing. We host events. If we seriously, and I say this, if we seriously invested in sport as a space where we have insight, these are ways where New Haven residents, or New Haven student athletes have access to different things, different opportunities. We don't host. I'm starting to think here, it's not just about access. Sport in itself can do a lot of good things. What I do focus on at the youth level, functional movement, our students being able to come out, finding safe spaces. Crime has existed, but I will contest that a lot of people are talking about adjacent to what's happening. A lot of our athletes are not difficulties walking around neighborhoods. I mean, things have changed. So as sport has changed, the athletes have changed, the resources have changed. It's not just about talent. So from an investment standpoint, I mean, where football was created, talking about two-story programs across the country. There's no investment, there's no Hall of Fame, there's no recognition. And so when we treat it as such in this larger conversation, this might not matter. That's not something we did. But the things and the banners that we do put up, these are our kids. These are the individuals that can come back home. These are the people that we don't have to go lease out different services. Athletes that are always willing to go to youth practices, youth camp, high school camp. That relationship has never been given back in return. And I'm not saying banners or rings or anything else, but recognizing that as I have a person, I was in college and I have an 18-year-old, the system in which that I was part of, where I had youth, high school program, I played baseball, and I saw everybody. We won't have those opportunities. And a large portion of that shit focused on who was very talented, who was not. And so when we found those opportunities, we say like, and not take it away, this kind of proactive, pro-social plans. There are adjacent things to school. We have marketing, we have branding, we have newscasters. These are all things that can be invested in the support system. There are a lot of students that are not invested in a real way. All the ways sport touches. UNH just won the one double A. Sports for us is part of our identity. There's not many places outside of pizza that New Haven doesn't probably talk different about sports. So a lot of things left us. We were playing games at South. The fieldhouse is not built in the same. I understand that crime happened, but we build the ball smaller. Even if you wanted to host something, you can. You want the whole state open outdoor. You can. You got rid of half the stand. So it expresses a larger concern than what hills will they run over? Because if not investing in it, won't be there. And so there's a thing that there are other athletes. There are parents that I'm that age now where I think my father invests his time, he's the president, vice president of all these different leagues, while also raising me. We're willing to make that investment, knowing that we will have access. I've hosted 2 conferences in Connecticut. I've had over 500 individuals at these camps, and in those camps, what we call athlete alliance. It's a company that says we will help raise each other. So we have all athletes. My whole funeral was all athletes. My staff was all athletes. My business station were all. You can create the ecosystem that's there. All we had to do right now is go under the banner of the so that those opportunities we covered ourselves. We are here. But what's also we can't do it just because we can. As a professor, and someone that does the sport management work, then I'm almost asking where's the or where's the answer? Why would
Thank you. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
All right, thank you all for coming out tonight. I would like to thank the makers, Alder Canby Smith, Alder Denti. I would like to thank everyone that came out, whether you came up and gave us information. We're gonna wrap this is one of the many discussions we're probably gonna have on this. What you took it's a lot. We know about what happens, but coming from you all, I think it can have an impact. I think our students, our youth that came out and spoke as well. Hearing from you, it brings it to a different place. I just want to put that out there. But basically, this is great. It's a great first discussion on suggestions. Going forward, we're going to be looking for suggestions on how we could or should do a sports commission. How we draft it, how we make it something effective if it's going to be done. We all need to work to do. So just thank you all for coming to this tonight. Once again, and we do look forward to having further conversations. I feel like this is a great. So thank you all for being here once again tonight. Okay, motion has been made and seconded. All in favor? Any opposed? Seeing none, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you.